Okay, let's start with the outline. You want to come up with a clear and descriptive title, and you want something that's not very long and cumbersome. Then an abstract. An abstract is just a short summary of what the proposal is, usually 1 page or less. Table of contents. You don't necessarily have to have it. If the proposal is not very long, then you don't need a table of contents. I should mention here, all of the things that I'm telling you would be superseded by whatever the guidelines are of the foundation. I'm telling you generally, but you need to follow the guidelines of the foundation. Always, always, always follow the guidelines. Because sometimes they'll kick you out for something silly, like they said 10 pages and you gave them 11, and then they say, well, you didn't follow the guidelines, we're not funding you. So I'm saying this, but really, please keep in mind that you have to follow the guidelines. Okay, organizational background. That's where you talk about what your mission is and who founded the organization and all the great things that you've done over the past 10 years. Then the need for the project or the activities. Expected outcomes. I'll get into this in more detail in a minute. Your evaluation plan, the schedule of major tasks, which we talked about a minute ago, the staffing pattern, the budget, and attachments. Okay, we're under B, gather information. And we talked about this a bit already. First, the information about your organization you may be able to get from other documents that already exist. Then to prove that there's a need for the project, you want facts and statistics. What's the unemployment rate? You know, how many people are homeless? What's the poverty rate? What's, you know, how many children are in single-parent families? So forth, whatever statistics are relevant to your project. You can get a lot of that from the Census Bureau or from other federal agencies like the Department of Labor and so forth. Then you also would like to have information about other organizations' work because you want to show that you know what else is going on in the community. If you're proposing to do, let's say, a substance abuse program, you should know what other substance abuse programs are out there so that you can say that, for instance, even though there are 10 other programs, there are more people who need the services than are being served. Or even though there are 10 other programs, yours is the only program that's serving, you know, pregnant women who are addicted to some substance. So you need to know what the other organizations in your community are doing so that when you write the proposal, you really sound like you know what you're talking about. And that's really the crux of this. The whole proposal writing venture is to show the foundation of the federal government that you know what you're doing, that they can trust you to use their funds appropriately to help solve a problem. Okay, I'm up to item C on page 17. Work out the details of the proposed project by contacting your organization's program staff, other experts in the field, prospective recipients of the service, and the program officer. That's at the federal agency or the foundation, if you have specific questions about a request for proposal. Now that may sound kind of basic, but it's not necessarily. Oftentimes organizations may have the executive director wants to do something, or the development staff, if they have somebody whose role is just to do fundraising, they may want to apply for certain things, but the staff may feel that they can't do it. Or the staff may feel that there's a better way to do it than what the executive director and the development person may have planned to propose. So it's really a good idea to get everybody together right up in the beginning and sit down and talk it through and decide what you're going to do. I have a question. She asked me to explain explain B on page 17. 2B. Oh, to prove that there's a need? Okay. Okay. To prove there's a need for the project, facts and statistics, you all know what that is. Go to Census Bureau, find out what the rates are of whatever problem you're trying to solve. Case studies are anecdotes from staff. That's where, all right, it's one thing to say that the unemployment rate is 20%. It's something else to say that John Doe has been unemployed for 2 years, and as a result, he's become homeless. His wife had to leave with the children to move in with the family in North Carolina, and to really go into all the details that show kind of the human side of what's happening and why it's such a problem. So that's what I mean by case studies and anecdotes. You don't want to rely entirely on that. You really do want to have statistics. And you don't want to go overboard and make it into this big sob story. You have to be careful with it to present it kind of factually. But when you present it that way, it really shows how devastating whatever this problem is that you're trying to address. Sorry. She asked how many cases could you use. I would limit it to probably one. Yes.
I know over at our church, we decided the community needs by having a community forum. Let the community come into the church. And when they tell you what the needs are, you can use that as hard facts that the community needs what you're fixing to do.
Okay, did everyone hear that? Okay, he said that what he did at his church was had the community come in, had a community forum, and had those people talk about what their needs were, which is an excellent idea, so that, first of all, you have firsthand information from the community about what they need, but it also shows that your organization is connected to the community. Something like that would be an excellent thing to put in a proposal. And sometimes they even ask you, how did you do a community needs assessment? How was the community involved in coming up with this project? So thank you, that was an excellent comment. Anything else on this part? Okay. All right, I'm moving on to page 18. Okay, you've done the outline, you've talked to everybody and gotten your information, and now you're ready to prepare a rough draft of the proposal by filling in your outline. Much of this I've talked about already. The organizational background, explain what your mission is, what the history of the organization is, and your major accomplishments over the past year or past several years. The need for the project, explain the need with the facts and the anecdotes and so on. Describe how other organizations' similar efforts do not meet the need that you seek to address. Basically saying, even though there may be other groups that are doing similar work, they are not doing exactly what it is you're saying you want to do. And then explain why your organization is the right organization to address that need. Then the proposed project or activities. You want to list what the major activities are. For instance, if you're trying to help people get a job, then one of the things is you have to recruit the people into the program. You may have to help them prepare their resume. You may need to teach them interviewing skills. Then you help them with their job search, so forth. But you want to list out what all the activities are and what is it that you're going to do. Because again, they don't just want to hear, this is a problem, so give me some money. They want you to say, this is a problem, this is what I'm going to do about it, this is what the results are going to be, so give me some money. Okay, expected outcomes. You want to emphasize the concrete benefits. You might want to acknowledge that the congressman just walked in. Oh, thank you.